And your title is, I've got it as Manager of Global Academic Group.
That's just manager global academics.
Okay.
I really don't
We are live at Rockwell Automation Fair 2022. My name is Melissa Martin. I am your guest host of the Tech Ed Podcast. We are wrapping up 2 days of just really innovative conversations with people who are creating partnerships, collaborations, and doing disruptive things in the world of academia and industry. And the theme for the last 2 days has been partnerships and collaboration. And how do we bring together stakeholders from education, from industry, from public policy to create projects that really help students, help learners get the skills, the training, the certifications they need to be successful in really highly skilled, high-tech careers of the future. Now, our guest on this episode of the podcast, his organization is, well, running this entire show, but is also a testament to that whole idea of collaboration, building ecosystems, and disrupting the world of education and industry. I have on with me Joe Zaccaria. Joe is the program manager of global academics at Rockwell Automation. His team is responsible for the digital workforce booth that we have been broadcasting from the last 2 days. I know you guys can't see it on the camera, but I mean, this is just an incredible booth, which so much activity going on, so much interest, so many amazing conversations happening with partners from industry, with partners from all over the country, from universities. Joe, really excited to talk about some of these projects and hone in on one specific project that you've been highly involved in. First of all, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Melissa. It's good to be here.
First, I have to ask you, because it feels like everybody we've talked to now and in the past at Rockwell has a really interesting answer to this conversation. How long have you been working for Rockwell?
I've been with Rockwell 24 years.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
have to think about it.
I love pointing that out because it's such a unique Rockwell thing. People get hired and they stick around for a long, long time, and that's unique to the culture.
That is very unique to the culture, and it helps us. It helps us in a lot of ways because our relationships are deep and long lasting, and it helps us do more effectively, do more with less.
Right, yeah, exactly. And then your role, your team within Rockwell, I know you've been involved in different teams within Rockwell, but the team you're on right now, can you tell me a little bit about what the mission and vision is of this group?
So the mission and vision of this group is to help create the workforce at scale to support the manufacturing, essentially manufacturing globally. And what I mean by supporting manufacturing globally, I'm referring to the needs in advanced manufacturing techniques, technologies, and methods. There is a significant gap between the demand and the talent that's being produced right now.
Right.
We are actively working with academic institutions, government agencies, other industry partners to create an environment such that it can be scaled and we can produce the proper level of talent needed for manufacturing in the U.S. and around the world.
And that talent needed, that's not just for Rockwell, but you have this huge ecosystem of partners, your own supply chain that all need this talent as well, right?
Yeah, Melissa, we're doing the right thing. Essentially, in our mind, we're doing the right thing for the globe.
Yeah.
This is all manufacturing around the globe. Everybody needs the support.
Yeah.
It helps with sustainability. It helps with diversity. It helps with outreach to communities that we can call them, sometimes are called underserved. I refer to them as underexposed.
Yeah.
There is an opportunity for everyone in this space. And we have proven it, we've seen it. We just need to create the ecosystem so it can be effectively deployed.
Yep.
And that's what we're working with, and we're working with University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee as a partner, so we have deep understanding of how academia works. They have a better understanding of how industry works, and we can move together at pace.
Absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned UWM, and for our listeners, if you don't know, Rockwell Automation's world headquarters is in Milwaukee, and the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee is right in their own backyard. And Rockwell has been a founding member and just really the the instigator and the creator of the Connected Systems Institute at UWM. Tell us a little bit about the CSI.
Okay, the CSI, so the CSI was something that was conceptualized between our CEO, Blake Moret, and Chancellor Mark Monet, and that was back in 2016. They decided to move forward with it, and in 2018 I joined the group, and it became effectively my project to lead.
Yeah.
So we worked with the university, of course, they were leading partners as well, and we identified the space that was going to be used. We consumed 11,000 square feet of the Golda Meir Library.
Yep.
We worked with the architects to define the flow of the space, what needed to be in place, and then we took it to the technologies. We wanted to have an enterprise that went across the board, across the School of Business, the School of Information Sciences, and the School of Engineering, and change the shape of the talent that's being produced to better support industry, to looking. So the talent is defined around methodology to drive business outcome, not just focused on what technologies are there.
Absolutely, and I think the cornerstone of that space that you have in the Golda Meir Library is that digital manufacturing test bed. Can you describe what that system looks like and what it does? I mean, because it's incredible.
Well, describing what it looks like, let's see how good how well I can do that. So essentially, it is a 8-unit operation manufacturing line. Every product, it produces a product. It's a safe product, so that we don't have to have any MSDSs or anything like that. But it's basically, we're making colored water with food coloring. But there is a precision to it. Each product is serialized. Each product has 335 different quality parameters that go along with it, or performance parameters goes along with it. So we can create artificial intelligence models around system performance and system optimization that are tied directly into the recipes that go back. So the recipes can actually come down and make adjustments to the line depending on what's being made. These are all essentially dream state manufacturing opportunities.
Right.
We want that to be the type of things that are researched, learned, proven, and made commercially viable within the Institute. So the intent is to take the risk out of adoption of these technologies.
Right. So who are some of the partners? I mean, the system is built on, tons of technologies from some of the world's leading companies. Who are, some of the partners whose technologies are integrated into this system?
So yeah, you're right. So our group works with many partners, and many partners in the educational space. So we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah.
Partnership is one of the things we actually stress as being taught.
Yeah.
So in our case, the systems we had partners from FANUC, from Endresen Hauser, Mettler Toledo, APT Manufacturing, Symbiont Engineering, Haskell out of Atlanta. Let's see. I'm trying to think of all the labels that are on this thing. So that's generally the list, and I apologize if I missed anybody.
No worries at all.
But Panduit was also helped us with the networking systems and the wire cabling systems. So there was 120 different people involved in the development and delivery of this system.
Yeah.
Which is pretty typical in any kind of manufacturing system. There's a lot of people that get involved. Students need to understand that.
Yeah.
They need to understand that this isn't just something you throw together.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's part of the thinking. Everything has to be thought through with a proper level of expertise, and especially as we go into advanced technologies. If you're putting advanced or artificial intelligent models or machine learning models or augmented reality systems, your data structure is the foundation of that. If you don't design your system with a proper data structure, then you diminish the capabilities of the technologies you're sitting on top.
Sure.
So you have to think about it holistically. You can't just build something and then just throw something on top of it.
Right. And one of the really neat aspects of the, you have the physical system, but then you've also built out with some of your partners a digital twin of the system that you have here in the booth. Tell us about how that all works.
So the digital twin was used, so this is done on Emulate 3D.
Okay.
The digital twin was used as the platform from which we tested and configured all of our controls before the physical machine was built. So we developed it that way. We knew we had a time constraint, but we also knew this was a technology we could apply. So we figured, well, let's see how well it works.
Yeah.
So we did it. It worked. We went from detailed design phase to commissioning on-site completion within 6 months.
Wow.
So it worked exceedingly well.
Fantastic.
It was one of the smoothest startups I've actually experienced in my 35 years in industry.
Wow.
We certainly proved the concept. So with that, we've taken that presence, and we're going to have 16 of these digital twins in the room in the lab next door. All the capstone projects are going to be run through the digital twins first, proven as a stage gate before they get transferred over to the test bed. So the test bed is going to be a platform designed to have optimization done to it over years of capstone projects.
Wow.
We're also taking data from that system, pushing it up into Azure, so the data from the manufacturing products that are coming off are getting pushed into Azure, so we can do performance analysis, we can do precision capability analysis, and a range of other things.
Yeah.
Then once we've got to that point, we're going to be feeding that back down to the machine so we can optimize its settings. So we're doing everything that everybody wants to do. In addition, we've got an MES system, so we now implemented Plex. So our orders are coming from SAP into the MES system, down to the machine. Machine will produce, confirm the production, and then send it back up to SAP to complete the transaction. So this is, we are making a complete enterprise. In addition to that, we have Fix as our CMMS system, and we're going to be integrating these advanced technologies to optimize the maintenance of these systems, and also integrate with production.
So, I mean, our audience just needs to listen to that. I mean, when you talk about Industry 4.0, the system that Joe just described, from the enterprise level down to the technology, the quality, the maintenance, the digital twins, the data analysis, and then using that to optimize. I mean, this is Industry 4.0, and it's happening right at a university, and we're giving students access to this technology to learn how to work with the technology, to learn those process optimization skills that they can take to an employer in manufacturing, help that employer with the digital transformation, which we know is on everybody's mind right now. The students who will have access to the CSI and to access to these technologies, maybe like what kinds of programs are they studying? Who are these students?
So it's a mix, and it's intentionally a mix.
Yeah.
So obviously it's going to be the School of Engineering. One of the professors that's working with us is Wilka Starteño, and she heads up the industrial engineering group. She actually has led the industrial automation courses.
Yep.
We've moved those courses over into CSI to make sure that the students are properly exposed.
Right.
She's heavily involved in helping us develop the capstone projects. So industrial engineering is involved, mechanical engineering is involved. So in UWM's vernacular, we call it CEAS.
Okay.
So that organization is participating. The School of Information Sciences is participating.
Excellent.
And the School of Business is also, so Lubar School of Business is also participating. Matter of fact, Atish Sinha is one of the professors over at Lubar, and he's our academic director in the CSI. It's a tremendous asset, because we have to expand the influence of CSI across the university to attract students, and he's got industry experience as well as academic experience, and he's very passionate about the space. We're thrilled to have him there, and he's going to help us grow and expand.
Absolutely, and I think, no surprise, industrial engineering, mechanical engineering, we would expect that, but when you bring in the School of Information Sciences and the business students, I mean, this is an example of what all schools need to be in that cross collaboration, cross curricular programming, so those business students get access to manufacturing technologies, because when they go into the workforce, they're not. That's the kind of stuff that they need to know. So tell me about the thought process behind when you guys were building out that strategy to make sure you had multiple programs having access to this technology.
So it's interesting you asked that. So I was thinking about this while you were formulating the question, but for industry to adopt advanced technology, they are going to have to change the way they're organized as well.
Yeah.
Historically, engineering doesn't talk to the business people, doesn't talk to finance.
Yeah.
Information people are usually sit in IT and they're isolated from everybody. So you can't really drive a performance initiative that affects everybody if everybody's not involved.
Right.
The challenge happens to be these different groups being isolated, they don't really communicate with each other well, or they don't understand each other.
Right.
So this is a big part of why we wanted to make sure the students coming out of CSI and any institute that we work with has that depth of understanding.
Right.
Because that's going to make them infinitely more valuable within the workplace.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That phrase we're hearing a lot more often now is IT/OT convergence. On that technology side of things, they have to understand each other. They have to get along, understand each other's needs and challenges and language and the terminology that they use, and then bringing in the business, bringing in the finance, bringing in the leadership, getting everybody on board. Now, speaking of leadership in the workforce, this CSI isn't just for the students, right? You are also opening programming and making sure that this is going to be available to people within the workforce, right?
That's correct. So one of the things that we're leading on is we've developed a program called the Digital Manufacturing Leadership Pathway. So this pathway is a course that's designed specifically for small, medium-sized manufacturing businesses. We'll call them $1 billion or less.
Okay.
For their leadership to understand what a advanced technology transformation would look like,
right,
and how to self-consult their way through that process.
Sure.
Obviously, these companies are not big enough to hire large consulting firms, but they still need to take advantage of the tech. So understanding how that works is going to be very important. So we created this pathway. It's 9 modules. There were 7 industry-wide subject matter experts. It is an asynchronous learning platform. However, at the end of each week, the cohort gets to have a face-to-face, online face-to-face, or in some cases it is truly face-to-face,
sure, meeting
with a subject matter expert to bring out questions, concerns, ideas, concepts that can be addressed in real time. At the end of the program, there is a capstone done by the cohort in which these business leaders will come away with at least a fundamental execution plan for their digital manufacturing adoption, right? So we address things like partnerships. We address things like networking and infrastructure, cybersecurity, change management, maintenance and reliability using advanced technologies. Let's see what else. Data structures. It goes on and on and on. But
yeah.
All those modules are available. Anyone can sign up. The pathway is run twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall.
Okay.
But anybody can go through the first module, which is the introductory module, which lays out all of it. Go online, you could self-register, and you could take the first module.
Yeah.
So that kind of essentially sets the stage for the rest of it,
sure,
and lets people explore it.
Well, everyone, asks, especially small to mid-size, it's where do I start? I don't even know where to start, and we all know that everyone's stretched thin, doesn't necessarily have the bandwidth to figure this all out. So, I mean, this is an incredible resource for those organizations to take advantage of this program that has been put together for them. What would you say is kind of like the target level, or kind of like the target role at the organization? Who should be taking this course?
It can be anything from the CEO all the way down to any manager level, frankly. And I'd highly recommend I'd highly recommend sales organizations to go through at least the introduction.
Excellent.
Because it gives some framework to
Yeah.
what your customers are going to be going through. It's fairly well done. I have to admit, I participated in it, so,
Yeah.
so I
You
am
may
going
be
to
biased,
be a
but
little smug, but no, it's actually very well done.
It's tremendous, yeah.
We partnering with CSI on this. Casey O'Brien, who unfortunately can't be with us here this week, she put some professionalism in this that, in my opinion, is second to none. It makes it extremely useful, makes it extremely valuable, and part of our strategy is that we update this program every 6 months. So as
Excellent.
new ideas and new technologies come in, we're constantly keeping this fresh and,
Right.
and available and accessible to people. So there can be additional modules added.
Excellent. That's all great, and I would highly encourage our viewers to head on over to UWM, check out the CSI, and look into these courses. I have to ask, is there anything? What's on the horizon for CSI? What are you guys looking at as you vision out the future?
There's a better person to ask that question to, but they have created a 5-year strategic plan.
Excellent.
Our next immediate steps are integrating our partner, our soon to be official partner, is U.S. Cellular and Ericsson.
Right.
For our 5G systems.
Yeah.
To create, the intent is to have an infrastructure as a service approach.
Yep.
That can eliminate one of the impediments to adoption. That's coming up. The other thing coming up is the development of the capstone portfolio that's going to be offered out to the different schools. There is a series of 12 courses currently being developed. And by the way, if there's any government agencies looking to give grant money, we could do that a lot faster if we had more grant money.
Well, we know there's a lot of it out there, so yeah, that'll be great.
A little bit of shameless begging.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're getting ready to roll out in the spring. We're rolling out our OT/IT network convergence and cybersecurity course.
Wonderful.
That's coming in the spring, so we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
And right now we're working with starting to create some AI models in Azure around the system to kind of prove out some of the theories we've been espousing.
Absolutely. We talked about this whole topic with Mark Grushy and James Rose from U.S. Cellular yesterday. So Matt was on the podcast with them and talking about a little bit about UWM and what they're going to be doing there, and then also about the whole idea of cellular in Industry 4.0 in manufacturing. We also had on Enrique Herrera from Microsoft talking about Microsoft platforms and data analysis in manufacturing. A lot of our viewers who may not be deep in the weeds in the manufacturing world might say U.S. Cellular and Microsoft, what in manufacturing? But these companies, there's just so much opportunity for the convergence of all of these other technology spaces to make an impact on manufacturing. So just incredible work being done at UWM CSI, and sounds like some amazing things coming in the future. I want to ask about Rockwell's academic efforts, kind of big picture, maybe just more in general. How do you see, in the grand scheme of manufacturing in the U.S., do you see there being a stronger development of partnerships between academia and industry in the coming years? Because to me it seems like it's trending that way, but what do you see?
Yeah, we're seeing that. We're right now we're in a position where we're trying to drive it.
Okay. Yeah.
We're not just responding to it. We are actively trying to influence it, and it's been being received quite well with a lot of our partners. Part of it, we've been doing this for a long time. Our group leader, our group director, Michael Cook, has been doing this for about 5 or 6 years before I got involved.
Yeah.
So he already started this journey. He did a lot of learning with the Istanbul Technical Institute. So we did big labs in Istanbul. We've done work in China. We've done work in Mexico. We've done work all over. But learning what works and what doesn't work,
right,
and that it's a partnership and not a collaborative event.
Right.
We have to take the idea that these are events,
Yeah.
and that these are philanthropic events out of our vernacular, because that really doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for industry. It doesn't work for academia. So we're changing the nature of that partnership. And partnership's key. One of the things if you're a manufacturer and you're trying to transform your operation using advanced technologies, you will be engaging partners. You are not going to be engaging suppliers.
Right.
Because you have to have a common interest in success.
Yes.
And you have to be candid with each other, and you have to be open and honest about every step of the way, because otherwise you will drive yourself into a ditch. And that's something that we want the academic institutions to understand as well, so that the people coming out of those institutions have that understanding before they hit industry.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are doing just incredible work, like you said, driving this movement of industry academic collaboration across the U.S. and beyond. This show the last 2 days has just been full of life. I mean, this booth, you called it out, credit to Michael Cook for his leadership in developing this space that we see here. Tell me, what has been your biggest takeaway from Automation Fair, from the conversations you've had with people walking through?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, so I haven't been in Automation Fair in a long time.
Okay.
It's been, I think Philadelphia was the last one, and that was back in 2019.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Just in general, this is the most activity I've ever experienced in any booth ever in all the trade shows I've done, and I've done a lot of them.
Wow.
I'm not terribly surprised, but it was amazing the level of conversation we're going into, and how many people really get it.
Yes.
How many really understand it, and the interest is huge. It just validates that we're on the right track, and that our partnerships are taking us the right direction, and we're going to succeed. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of passion. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude, if you will. But if it was easy, it'd been done already.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
We like it because it's hard. We like it because it does take time, but it takes a lot of thought, and it's a challenge. But we are making an impact, and it's a significant impact, and it's all for the better.
Yeah.
So we're here to do the right thing, and that's what we're doing.
You absolutely are. I said the same thing to someone earlier today. I said, you know what? I'm not surprised at the turnout I saw, but because, when you sit and you see the vision behind it in the months leading up and preparing for this, you're not surprised when you see it, but you're still amazed by just how incredible the interaction, and like you said, people get it. Our final question, and this is one we ask everybody who comes on the podcast with us, I'm gonna really interested to hear your answer on this, because I know you've got a daughter, and she's into some really, really awesome things. So in 1 minute, if you could give one piece of advice to a high school sophomore as they think about what they want to do with their future pathway, what would that be?
Wow, that's a good question. So I told you not to ask me hard questions. So I actually have 2 daughters. Both currently are attending Waukesha County Technical College.
Yeah.
The reason they chose to go that route is because they felt the learning was going to be much more in depth, much more hands-on,
Yep.
and much more aligned with what they want to do. Now, curiously, they both know already what they want to do with their careers. I'm still trying to decide. So from that standpoint,
Yeah.
if you really know what you want to do,
Yeah.
then go for it as fast as you can. If you're unsure what you want to do, expose yourself to as many possible opportunities based on your interests, and you might find something. If you don't know what you do, pick something that you can support yourself and have a lot of hobbies and travel and see the world. That's just kind of, that's advice at this point. But if you're interested at all in automation and the use of advanced technologies and just applying things,
Yeah.
because you just have an appetite for learning, this is a great space to go into, and it is accessible to everyone.
Yes.
It's not, at any level, most people have the capacity to learn and participate in this type of work.
Yes.
So don't think of it as it's too high tech, I'm never going to be able to understand it, too much math. That's all been taken off the table. It's now available to everyone. Take a chance and look into it. Go
Yes.
to your local tech college.
Yes.
Talk to your school advisors and see what kind of programs they have, because it's the manufacturing industry would love to have you. We'd support you in the endeavor, and it would certainly help the country out and help us globally. So.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better. Fantastic advice from our guest, Joe Zaccaria, Manager of Global Academics for Rockwell Automation. Joe, thank you for joining me for this episode of the podcast.
Thank you, Melissa.